Monsoon was designed as an observation tower for the Highway 14 trail in South Dakota. And for this project, the client had two demands. One, that the structure be modular so that it can easily be repaired, and two, that it be accessible for visitors with limited mobility. And that is a very rare requirement for these kinds of outdoor open-air structures. Observation towers are never accessible unless they're as substantial as Eiffel Tower to have a whole elevator system. That is because in order for them to be accessible, they have to have a ramp. And with the shallow inclination that the building code requires for ramps, it is very hard to add them to these kinds of outdoor open-air structures. But we found a way to achieve this, and that was to make the structure circular. The interesting thing about circles and circular motion is that the farther away from the center you are, the longer you have to travel to complete one full revolution. Let's say there are two people walking in circles. Person B would have to travel a much longer distance than person A because it is further away from the center. Now, if they were climbing a structure, they would be climbing the same height after one full revolution, but person B would have to travel a much longer distance to get there. A much longer distance for the same height or a much longer run for the same rise results in a shallower inclination. And that was the solution to our problem. So we could have a normal staircase in the middle leading up to the observation deck, and by simply placing the ramp away or further off-center than the staircase, we can increase the length of the ramp and have the shallower inclination that the building code requires. We figured the best way to achieve this is to have a horizontal beam that rests on a column at the center and holds a segment of the ramp on the outside and a step of the staircase on the inside. And by simply repeating this piece around a circle of columns, we would get a spiral staircase in the middle and a spiral ramp on the outside. Structurally speaking, placing the column at the center of the beam was ideal because, first of all, it would give us the structural redundancy that would increase the safety of the structure by having multiple columns instead of one. And secondly, it would make for a more balanced distribution of the loads because we no longer have a cantilever applying a moment on the column, but rather a center beam applying a normal axial load. And it also makes for a more unique and interesting looking structure. So we killed 3 birds with one stone. Also, to satisfy the requirement of the code to have a break in the staircase and the ramp using a landing, we have a landing after each full revolution of the spiral. And from the 5th revolution onwards, the landings gradually get larger until we get to the topmost landing, and that has the required square footage by the client for the observation deck. So our landings gradually increase in size until they become the observation deck at the top.